name it. She joins us now. Congresswoman, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to start with reading something from the Trump administration's appeal that actually mentions you. In December 2025, they write, the center's board voted overwhelmingly to add President Trump's name to the center in recognition of his personal commitment to rebuild and revitalize the center. In this action, however, one of the board's ex officio trustees, Representative Joyce Beatty, a troublemaking appointment from the beginning of her tenure, sued her fellow trustees of the board, alleging, among other things, that this resolution and its implementation constituted a breach of fiduciary duty under the center's organic legislation. A troublemaking appointment from the beginning of her tenure. What's your response?
Well, I think I will quote John Lewis. I would say get in good trouble. So to Mr. President, who I understand wrote that himself, I would say if you see something, say something. And that's exactly what I did, because his action was unlawful. And it was never about him. It was about the American people. It was about the performers, the workers there, and the rule of law. And I think that troublemaking got me in good trouble, because when the 3 panel judges ruled in my favor after his last-minute decision to have that brief filed, it was a unanimous decision. 2 judges appointed by President Obama and a judge appointed by Donald Trump.
Congresswoman Beatty, it seems like it was only hours ago that you and I spoke. You were standing in front of the Kennedy Center. I understand you are back in district. I'm going to ask you the question I asked you last night, and that is, why, more than the rule of law, or upholding the rule of law, why was it important for you to take the Kennedy Center and the administration to court to undo what they illegally did?
I do think that was the major part of it. Jonathan, it was unlawful. Only the Congress can do it. But it was also very personal for me. It started when I was silenced by the very board that I sit on as an ex officio member. I had a right to voice my opinion. I had been on that board prior to Donald Trump and his hand-picked appointees, never silenced, always asked for my opinion. I am a follower of the arts. I am a collector of the arts. And I have attended many for years of the exhibits, the performances, the Kennedy Honors. I've been on the red carpet there. And I went on the board with Joe Kennedy and Caroline Kennedy, a dear friend, and we had served together there. And so it was important for me to speak up, because while this was about the John F. Kennedy Center, it was also about giving people hope. If you see something that's unlawful, if your voice is silenced, because that's our power. So whether it was the arts or voting rights or about our health care or the price of food and gas too high, I wanted to give people hope, because the American people want to see people fighting for them. And so that's what I felt I needed to do.
Mm-hmm. Congresswoman, earlier this year, I interviewed a Kennedy Center whistleblower, Joseph Palermo, who told us that the primary person responsible for the financial disintegration of the Kennedy Center, beyond this battle over the name and the programming, had been completely mismanaged by Rick Grinnell, the hand-appointed director, person to lead the Kennedy Center. I'm wondering if you've had any insight into the finances of the center, and if you have an idea of sort of, I think, one of the real reasons, or a reason that has been papered over, for why the Kennedy Center is closing.
Well, thank you very much. We certainly, as ex-official members, have been discussing this. As a matter of fact, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse has mentioned to us that this is an area that he wants to delve into. And the board meetings have been very interesting. They would say, we're in good shape, we have this, and then someone would hit the gavel and say, everything is unanimous. Oftentimes, I don't believe it was. And so one of the things that the judge said in our second thing that we filed was he wanted a declaration of a plan of action. How are we going to start the programming back? What is our plan? That will force the hand of this board to have clear financials, because we're hearing all kinds of things from this administration that the place is awful, yet we're continuing to have major events sponsored by Donald Trump and his hand-picked board members. We have things scheduled for the Mark Twain. We have the 4th of July event there. So we clearly need to be looking into the finances. We have other performers, artists who are suing the Kennedy Center based on financial reasons. So I am sure that that will be our next step, looking into the finances.
We just have some breaking news that just came into the newsroom. I'm going to read it straight from my iPad. A court has set a noon deadline to remove Trump's name from the Kennedy Center. Judge Cooper granted the administration's request for a 12-hour extension. They had cited thunderstorms as the reason they couldn't comply with the court order by last night's midnight deadline. They must inform the court, the administration, of their compliance by noon. Text order in the thread, as well as the motion for an extension that they filed at the 11th hour late last night. So this is still kind of a moving target. That TARP is still up, as we've said. Nnamdi Ngwala is there as well. I want to shift a little bit to Ohio, this Ohio Voting Rights Organization.
Yes.
Carol Leonnig, Will McDuffie, Alex Tabbitt, and Laura Barone Lopez, our amazing colleagues, had this scoop late Thursday night. Agents fanned out across the state, showing up at the homes of the group leaders and staff members, carrying some subpoenas and seeking information and electronic devices, according to the 3 people briefed, 2 of whom spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss a sensitive ongoing investigation. This is at Ohio Voting Rights Organization. Your response of what's happening in your state?
Yes, well, first of all, I was on a call yesterday with hundreds and hundreds of individuals who are advocates, who are labor, religious, educational leaders, because we're going to call it just what it is, voter intimidation. They went into, in the Cleveland district, they went into one of the satellite offices right in my very district in Columbus, the capital of Ohio. They knocked on directors' doors. When they opened the door, they went in and bullied them, told them they wanted all of their devices. They said, we know you know something about voter fraud, trying to entrap them to make statements. And one of the good things in one of those homes, Molly, who answered the door, one of our leaders and organizers, her husband is an attorney. So he was able to ask them all the appropriate questions. But I can also tell you, we have national civil rights organizations, we have religious organizations, and we are joining together to make sure that we let all of those individuals out there know that this is just another attempt to have voter intimidation. They don't want us to register people, because these organizing organizations, and the one they're targeting specifically, has gotten hundreds of thousands of people registered. And they know when we register, we vote, we win. This is just a pilot of the state of Ohio. We believe they're going to crisscross the nation. So that's why we have many of our civil rights leaders, national civil rights leaders, state civil rights leaders, all joining together. I flew home today because on Tuesday, I'm going to be meeting with local civil rights leaders, organizations, to protect the vote.
Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, thanks so much for joining us this morning.